Hi, I'm Sarah. Welcome back to my channel where I'm going to start again talking about my journey to sustainable health and meaningful success and talk about topics about it along the way using my own personal anecdotes and stories and spilling all the tea. I am a certified health coach and I just got my master's degree in clinical mental health counseling. I am not licensed, nor will I give any mental health advice aside from what I have learned, but it's certainly not as a clinical mental health counselor. I just have a master's degree in it, but do not practice. Period. So there's been a lot of updates in my life that I've just been kind of feeling that itch to start posting again. And literally, I'm just sitting here in this random moment of silence where I'm the only person in the house. I'm visiting my parents, and it is clearly 4th of July weekend, and literally everyone is either out golfing or napping or at church. So I'm sitting here listening to an audiobook from Dr. Libby Weaver called The Rushing Woman Syndrome, and just getting back in my feels about being intentional about holistic wellness. I don't think it'll ever be a weight loss journey again because I just think that that is just one metric of all of the things that I want to accomplish. So that's a whole rant in and of itself, but I will just give you kind of a brief overview just to touch base. Let's just check in. Let's just get an update. The last time that I posted, I had just gotten laid off from a full-time job, and then I had gotten an internship with someone who had previously been my professor and my employer. And if anyone else is in the mental health field, they will know that there is a strict policy of not having dual relationships within this work. And there is a very good reason for it. And that is because things get complicated really, really quick. And that was a terrible experience. So I only stayed in that internship I was employed. And then I stayed in the internship for a couple months. And then I just needed to excuse myself from it because I was breaking out in hives from the stress, and it just wasn't it wasn't a good dynamic. I don't think that the person themselves as my supervisor was a terrible person. It just was not a good dynamic. So had to switch internships. In the midst of switching internships, I got gastric sleeve surgery. Again, another video or even series of videos about how crazy that experience was. Clearly, I'm not skinny mini still, so that's a journey in and of itself, and it's been over a year. It was April 2024 that I got the surgery. So yeah, it's been a process, and yeah. So I got the surgery, and then I started another internship at basically a clinic that does more court mandated counseling for DV, anger management, DUI kind of counseling, more substance abuse stuff. Honestly, I thrived in that internship. I thrived in that structure, and I really loved working with my clients in that internship because we were all just mandated to be there for one reason or another. Nobody was getting paid to be there, and it was just a really good time to be working through whatever issue it was that we're working through without judgment, and everybody having their own specific circumstances to why they were there made it for a really positive, it was a positive experience, at least for me. Maybe not for the clients, but it was good work that we were doing. So did that internship, and so I graduated in December of 2024. Leading up to that, there was just a lot of grief. It was 2024 was a really tough year. My now fiance, because I'm engaged. I got engaged in September. So yay me. It's hard to talk about happy things while also talking about sad things. So 2024 was a year where my fiance lost his father, I lost my grandma and my aunt, and we got engaged. So it was really high highs and really low lows last year. In the midst of all of that, I got a job in the mental health field working with eating disorders, like working in a residential facility for adolescents with eating disorders. And that was a really intense job. That's a whole story time video in and of itself, talking about how I quit and then I got a $10,000 raise and then I got fired for so many different factors that I could go on whole rants about. Yeah, that was a crazy situation. And it kind of burned me from, it didn't burn me from the whole mental health field, but the job that I got after that and like the job that I'm working now is absolutely not in the mental health field because of how sickening that experience was. Basically. So that's a whole other story in and of itself. But yeah, so I worked there for like 5 months and then had a period of like 2 months of unemployment. And then, yeah, I've been working at this other job now since then. And it's great. I'm like right back in a cubicle again. So I think in topics of like meaningful success, really getting back into reflecting what it means for me to, have pursued a lot of higher education in one particular topic, but not pursue a career in it, or what that might look like in the future if I were to utilize my education to make something of it, career-wise. So that's kind of what that, like the career thing has been like really up and down, and now I'm like $80K in debt for something that I'm not even using, which is crazy. So just kind of figuring that out. In the midst of that, I'm getting married in 6 weeks, so wedding planning and just trying to do something really nice on a budget is oh. Yeah, so that's happening. Yeah, it's been a really great time, and it is a great practice in me being able to be mindful and grateful and seriously savor a time in my life that I hope to never do again. And I hope this is my only marriage, and I hope that this is like, I just have full intentions of happily ever after and never having to do this again. So being able to cherish it, being able to be grateful and just love the season that I'm in and not trying to rush past this season. So, so that is kind of where I'm at. So as I'm, sitting here in this moment alone on a 4th of July weekend and listening to Rushing Woman's Syndrome, I'm thinking like, wow, I've been set at such a pace of rush and wanting to finish one thing so that I can go on to the next thing, that I really deeply resonate with the idea that I need to slow down and just enjoy what is happening. Not just in wedding planning, but in life and in the things that I'm working through, health-wise, and just where I'm at. My intentions for health and wellness are so much different than what it started off as when I was posting on YouTube. I mean, it was earlier in my channel's history that I was trying to lose weight for aesthetics and trying to, date and just kind of like figure myself out and be, almost like dating myself, kind of getting to know what I liked, what I disliked, and just a new way of life after Amway. Which, there's a season of that when you leave a toxic situation that you do have to get reacquainted with like the true things of what you want. So that was initially what it started as. Well, now I feel fine. I feel fine. I'm not wearing makeup. I mean, I wear makeup still, but like I'm feeling good in my skin. I feel confident. I'm in a healthy relationship. So it's really not about that anymore. But now my health journey and a lot of the anxiety that comes in for me is like with PCOS and endometriosis and my history of a miscarriage and my scary surgery back in 2020 that I had a video about. All of that is now kind of like, well, I don't even know if I'm able to have kids, and I hope I am. And I think there's a lot of things that I need to do to be able to prepare to even welcome that season of my life, or to, be able to do that in a healthful and safe way. So that's kind of where my health motivation is coming from, rather than just seeing a number drop on the scale, although that is a helpful metric. And in terms of success, having reached the graduate level education and realizing that, that whole old adage of do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. That's not the case. Do what you love and you will be thinking about work constantly, and you will never be able to escape it because it's what you love. So even when you're not at work, you're thinking about work, and there will be like balance and like helpful boundaries will be ever elusive. That has been my experience. So now just trying to achieve balance, but also having a lot of like financial goals. Like we would love to be homeowners soon in like the next year. We'd love to escape the whole rent situation because it's not building anything. But how can we do that when we are barely affording rent, and building enough to be able to afford a down payment is a tall task for a first home, especially. So there's just things that I would really love to work toward and be intentional about. And things have shifted so much in my life and the way that I even perceive the world, now that, the seasons are changing for me, that I'd like to explore that more. And I think YouTube has been a really helpful and healthful outlet for me to be able to just kind of process that. I kind of was a little bit scared going back on YouTube because, you only really remember the negatives, or maybe not only, but primarily like the negative comments really stick out a lot more than the positive ones. But I do remember feeling like there was such community and being able to have input from other people going through similar, or who have been through similar situations, that I want to lean into the positive side of social media again. It's been a great detox, and it was important for me to go through like the different things that I was going through, especially in the last year, offline, because nobody wants to see that kind of downward spiral, unless they just want to like hate watch or just in it for the drama. But I'm glad that I wasn't posting publicly about those things. But now I think we're in a season where I think it'd be great to just be able to share what I'm going through, apply some of the knowledge that I've accumulated. But that's the thing, it wouldn't matter if I had gotten my doctorate in mental health counseling or in any other health field, without application. Knowledge is just a pretty piece of paper, and an expensive piece of paper. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just gonna start applying the things that I've learned and be mindful in the things that I'm trying to accomplish, and hopefully build a community along the way. And I don't know, we'll just see where it goes from there. Excuse me. We'll see where it goes from there. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for checking in. Let me know how you have been because it's been a while. And I'll see you for the next upload. Okay, bye.